So here we are discussing the next set of organelles. So first is the mitochondria. Mitochondria is having two membranes, the outer membrane and an inner membrane. In between there is an intermembrane space. The inner membrane is folded inwards to form a finger-like projections called as cristae. They increase the surface area for enzyme action. And which enzyme? ATP synthase. These enzymes are these circular structures attached to the inner membrane of the mitochondria. The more folded the inner membrane is, the larger surface area it will have for these enzymes to act. ATP synthases are the enzymes that produce ATP within the mitochondria, and as you know, mitochondria is known as the powerhouse of the cell. So the more ATP synthases are there, the more ATP gets synthesized. Inside the mitochondria, there is a matrix, and this matrix is having a fluid where chemical reactions can occur. It is having 70s ribosomes. You can recall 70s ribosome was the lighter of the ribosome, the smaller ribosome. It is only present in an animal cell inside the matrix and nowhere else in the animal cell. This is a small circular DNA, and this small circular DNA will have the genes that the mitochondria would need. What are genes? Genes are just segments of DNA that code for a certain polypeptide. So mitochondria will need several polypeptides and proteins for its functionality, and all these will be delivered to it by this small circular DNA. The mitochondria, you can see these diagrams here and you can look for the labels, and you can see that mitochondria is visible using a light microscope of very high quality and electron microscope. While we are using it, this mitochondria can be seen and the crystal can be seen as well, but at 400 magnification mitochondria cannot be seen. The cell surface membrane is the next part that we are discussing. It's about 7 nanometer wide at 250,000 magnification, which is the maximum magnification that an electron microscope can achieve. This surface membrane appears to be having two dark lines separated by a lighter region. What cell surface membrane is doing, it controls the entry exit of materials. This is a selective permeable region which allows certain substances to enter and the others to leave by osmosis, diffusion, active transport, which occur throughout the cell. Endocytosis and exocytosis can also occur. The cell membranes have receptors for signaling molecules. Signaling molecules refers to hormones, neurotransmitter, and drugs. Hormones such as, for example, insulin released by the pancreas when the blood glucose is high goes on to act on the liver cells and the skeletal muscles and cause the uptake of excess glucose and the conversion to glucose to glycogen, because the cell membranes of the cells present in liver and skeletal muscles, they have the receptors complementary to which insulin can attach to. So this is how the signaling molecules act on a certain target tissue and nowhere else. The next here we are here to discuss is microtubules and microvilli. Microtubules are basically having a protein called as tubulin, which occurs in two forms, alpha tubulin and beta tubulin, forming a dimer. So there is a repetition of these dimers across its entire length, and this repetition of these dimers, it forms a protofilament around a hollow core. If you look at it as a cross section, you see that there are 13 protofilaments arranged in a circular manner around a hollow core, which occupies about 25 nanometer of diameter. Each tubulin unit is 5 nanometer in diameter. What is the function of a microtubule? It radiates from the centrosome and it radiates all the way along every part of the cell. They serve as cellular highways. They are the regions on which the cell organelles they move from one region to another. Microvilli are the extensions of the cell membrane. They increase the surface area for absorption and secretion. And inside the microvilli, which basically otherwise would have been very fragile structure, there are microfilaments to provide them strength with. Microfilaments are similar to microtubules, but they are way thinner. And they are made up of protein called actin. And these green things, these are actin filaments lying parallel to each other. They are held together by the basal bodies, which are present at the base of these microvilli. So they keep the microvilli stiff, they keep them protected so the microvilli are not sloughed off from the cell. The next is centriole, centrosome, and MTOC. Basically, the term MTOC means microtubule organizing center. Centrioles and centrosomes are considered to be microtubule organizing centers because these are the regions where the microtubules originate, which I have just discussed. In animal cells, centrioles is visible, and why is centriole visible? Because it is a highly organized structure. And how is it visible? There are 9 triplets of microtubules arranged at a certain angle to one another. This is a single centriole. The length is about 500 nanometer and the width is about 200 nanometer. And this is a single cylinder. There are two cylinders of this sort, and they are at present at right angles to each other, which actually can be seen in this diagram. The one appears to be a circular, the other appears to be cut lengthwise, and these are having microtubules arranged in this particular order that I have discussed. What is the function of these centrioles and centrosome? They allow microtubules to be formed and radiate to every part of the cell, and they play a very important the microtubules, they play a very important role in mitosis, especially during the cell division where chromosomes are to be pulled apart. We discuss this later in chapter 5. Plant cells lack centrioles. How do they divide? Because they have MTOC. What are MTOC? MTOC refers to microtubule organizing center. These are just dispersed in the cytoplasm of the plant cell. Plant cell does not have these aggregates or specialized structures that can be distinguished from the background cytoplasm and can be labeled as centrioles. Plant cells lack this, but this doesn't mean that the plant cells do not have anything that can do the same function. Plant cells have MTOCs, which are just dispersed in the cytoplasm that carry out the same function as centriole or centrosome. It's just that they are not visible as centriole or centrosome. They are not aggregated in that way. If you look at the ultrastructure of the plants in an electron microscope, you see almost all the cell structures except for centrioles present in the plant cell. There are some additional things here that the chloroplast is visible, and in the chloroplast, grana is well there, and you can see the envelope of the chloroplast. Keep in mind that the chloroplast is larger than the mitochondria, and the vacuole in plant cells is even larger than the chloroplast. Between the two adjacent plant cells, there is a region called as middle lamella, which is made up of calcium pectates, which glue the cell walls together. And there are plasmodesma, which are gaps between adjacent plant cells that allow exchange of materials. So the cytoplasm of one plant cell is continuous with the other. This diagram here refers to the same thing. This is an actual electron micrograph. You can see here, you can label these structures and go for the label. The heterochromatin and euchromatin is explained here again, which I've always referred to earlier. Chloroplast, when you come to it, is the third structure of the cell, which basically is having two membranes, the outer and inner membrane. This is referred to as the envelope. Then there is a starch grain. Why would chloroplast have starch grain? Because the glucose that it makes can be converted into starch for storage. There is thylakoid. Thylakoid refers to membrane enclosed compartments that are present inside the chloroplast. They have chlorophyll and they can absorb light energy for photosynthesis. Thylakoids are arranged parallel in the stacks. The stacks are called as grana, and the grana are interconnected through these structures called as lamella. Then there are 70s ribosomes. You can recall 70s ribosomes are present inside the mitochondria as well. And here you are reading that they are present in the chloroplast as well. There's a small circular DNA, there are lipid droplets, and the liquid present inside the stroma, fluid present is called as the stroma. The fluid inside the chloroplast is called as the stroma. So this question here is just basically your for your review. Structure A actually is the chromatin. You can refer to as chromatin or euchromatin. Both are correct, but nucleus would be incorrect because this is the structure which is pointing in the line is pointing inwards. P is the chloroplast, C is the tonoplast, D is the vacuole, E is the cell wall, F is the middle lamella, G is the cell membrane, and H is the starch grain. There are a few questions that I have discussed which I think you can discuss for yourself. That's it for now.